So do you like farmhouses? Because I've got another Folk-Victorian farmhouse that is a little bit of a mystery. This one's an enigma. So join me on 3-Minute House Review while we take a look at this really interesting 1915 structure. Hey, I'm Archer, and this is 3-Minute House Review. Welcome back. This is a show that I do about houses and about particular houses and talk about them from the curb. So stay tuned to the end of the video because you can play a guessing game with me about how much this house is worth based on internet valuations, right? That's kind of a fun game. So let's take a look at this. First of all, yes, it's very Victorian in that, I mean, it's actually Edwardian technically. You know, in that era of the early 20th century, late 19th century, houses were tall and narrow and very kind of orderly, and that's what this is. Well, we'll look at the details up here. There's lots of little fish scales and like these boards, which are all factory made in the late 19th century, early 20th century. They were shipped by rail. They were made kind of all over the place, and people really went nuts with the decoration. There's actually some kind of East Lake style Queen Anne things, also some kind of scroll saw, flat wood decorations. Let's go into here, more scroll saw decorations. They're in relatively good shape. Yeah, original windows. Someone could clean the gutters, but that's not my job. Oh, and look at this holly bush. Holy moly, that is a big holly bush. You know that was cute when it was first planted there. I love when people let stuff go. Like you can look at a house or a graveyard and you're like, oh, people put little plants on either side of the gate or on either side of the grave, and then you go back, you know, 70 years later and they're 40-foot trees and everything's all torn up and you can't even use the gate. So this is basically a what's called a tea house, which has got a front gable, which is this area here. The gable is the triangle that's exposed, and then it's got a side section, a side gable that goes out this way. So this is a relatively large farmhouse size. It's also got a big addition that goes all the way out and around the back. Why I am bringing this to you, I don't just take pictures of every farmhouse I see. This one is just weird in a way that I can't understand. A lot of times when I see a house and I see a modification of the house, I can understand like why they did what they did. In this case, not so much. But it's the windows. Look at the windows. The windows are weird. So if you saw the Swan, the Victorian era farmhouse or the Edwardian era farmhouse I did a couple weeks ago, you saw it was very orderly. The windows lined up. These windows don't line up. And I cannot figure out why, because they look like the same era of window. I mean, come in, look at the detail. So we have these little sash windows, one pane of glass, one pane of glass. This little detail here, we have that here. So these look like original windows. Have them here, same details. These are not modern windows. Same. Look how they line up. I mean, this just doesn't line up at all. And everything is like these are relatively centered, but these are not centered in the facade. There's only about a foot here. So that doesn't make any sense to me. And same as you go around here, they lined up this dormer between these two windows because I don't think this dormer is original. But then we have the same size window over here, and then it drops down and it's like really off from what this is. You generally have your structure and how you carry the load around a window, and that is easy to repeat and to kind of, you know, if they were skewed but they had the same left side of each window, I would be like, okay, that makes sense, because they wanted maybe bigger windows downstairs and they just kept with the original, they enlarged a smaller window to a bigger one. But in this case, like this one's off a little bit, this one's off even more, and this one's off the most. It's a mystery. It's a mystery. It's a mystery. So this is not, it's very different kind of windows. This is almost like something that you'd see on a Tudor house with all these little tiny window panes, very vertically oriented, not sash style windows. Also the roof has, even though they've decorated it, the gable end, it's decorated, it's really not at all the same as the one that's here. So I think that was added onto. And then this is kind of a barn style addition that, who knows what this is. I mean, it says farmhouse, kind of. It also says, I'm a barn, I'm a house, I'm a barn house, I'm a farmhouse. I guess I can see that. So here, the other side, right? Look at this. They just are even worse lined up here, which is just not something you see too often on a house that has kind of, generally farmhouses have this they're not always symmetrical, but they're very orderly, right? That's what I always think about when I think of farmhouses like this. And then these windows are closer together than these two windows. And then, they started the addition here, so it's hard to know what happened around that way. This is the Google Earth picture of this house, and it's not great. So I just took the picture I was showing you from out here, and then it has two small dormers, which, the way the sun's hitting it, it looks like it's the same angle as the side gabled roof. It looks like they have 90-degree or 12-12 roof, just like the main roof, and that it used to have also coming out of this side and this side. The other thing I can think of was maybe this wasn't always the front of the house. Maybe there was a road when this was built in 1915. Maybe they thought the front of the house was out here, but that's harder to imagine. And the way the porch works, it does seem like the front of the house. So this is a mystery. If you have ideas, put them out there. That's what I think about this. It's interesting. I love old kind of late Gothic, Edwardian style things like this. I think they really capture something that I love about American history and neighborhoods. I just don't understand this, and it's worth wondering. Hey, thanks for watching with me today. Stay tuned for the valuation. If you like what I do, keep watching my videos and maybe even give them a like. That really helps. It also just helps me psychologically because I don't know how many people really are interested in houses. And if you're a house geek, please let me know, because I only know, well, officially only one person has really admitted how geeky they are and how much they like what I'm doing. Other people are being polite about it, which is awesome. Thank you for being polite, people who just know me personally. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you again next time.